Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, this is part 2 in my advanced class of navigation with nothing. In the first part I talked about how we're going to go and utilize the sun. That the sun, as it moves along the equator here in the northern hemisphere of North America, it means that the sun is always to the south of us and all shadows are going to be some variation of north. And in the morning it will be east to southeast at sunrise. The sun will set at southwest to west depending on the time of the year. The shadows will vary from in the morning from west to northwest all the way back around to east, northeast depending on the time of the year. And that at noon the sun is due south of you and the shadow is facing due north of you at noon. The old noon sight they talked about in the days of sextants and ships. Well, now we've talked about how to prepare and box wherever you're going to do your woodscraft. The land you're going to hike on, you're going to canoe on, whatever. You found the landmarks to box you in so you know how to navigate out. All I need to know is at least one rock solid thing. That to the north of here is a highway, and the west of here is a canal, or to the south of here is agricultural fields, whatever. All I need is something rock solid that I know that if I head whatever direction that I need to go, west, east, south, whatever, I'll get to that and then I know where I'm at and I can work my way back. It makes it dang near impossible to get lost because I'm in a box. It is not this unknown expansion going on, because being lost simply means you do not have a reference point. Where is this? What's over that hill? What's 5 miles that way? What you don't know, you say. But if you box yourself before you go, you've got reference points. Now, let's refine it a little bit more. Let's dial it in from being just that course of southerly to northerly. Let's talk about how to dial this in even tighter, okay, and actually find good direction, okay? Now, not to think that this is a new idea. This is the Boy Scout manual of the 1940s, World War II area. There it is telling about how to navigate with a watch or a clock. Now, a clock. A standard clock face of 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A clock. Everybody knows what a clock is. We have a minute hand and an hour hand. Okay? But the human mind has the ability, and really the preference, to fill in things that are missing. And this is true in many things, where if I take things away, your brain will know they're there, they'll put them back in because it has a reference point. So, if I take this clock right here and I take away the minute hand, can you still tell me what time it is? Well, it's 2 something, but 2, okay? What if I took out the 4, 5, the 7, 8, the 11, the 10, the 1, 2. Took out the hour hand, the hour hand, and I just left the 12, 3, 6, 9. Okay? Now if I went and said, that's the hour, could you still read it? Well, it's sort of 10 o'clock, right? You wouldn't be as precise, but you could reference that, right? So that's 10 o'clock. If I eliminated that and I said this, that's kind of 5 o'clock, right? What if I went even further? And this time I eliminated all the numbers. What if I said, instead of doing that, what if I just took something round? And you gotta be impressed by my drawing, I know. what if I just took something round and I put a mark right there? And I said, that's a clock. And that's 12 o'clock. Could you still, if I said, what time is this? Well, yeah, that's kind of 5-ish. What time is this? 9. Time is that? 3. I have to think about it. Say, you get it. You see what I'm saying? So really, if we're just talking in hours, all I need is a round thing with a mark on it, right? So that I can realize that that's a clock. And that you're then trying to tell me what time it is, right? Well, I can generate that round thing with a witness mark on it out of virtually anything. As an example, here's a lid to a bottle. Now this could be any piece of trash I pick up in the woods. And you know there's tons of trash. I can take a leaf and tear it and make it roughly round. I can take something on me that I already had, a little tin, a little whatever, that is roughly round. And I can do that with it, right? I can improvise this part in the field. I can also, if I have my saw, cut off a limb and have a cross-section piece of limb like a poker chip, or just cut a cut and then another cut and have a piece of a limb, okay? Now all I need is one mark in the top of that. And I say, that's clock face. Okay, if this is a clock, what time is this right here? Well, that's 9 o'clock. What's this down here? 6 o'clock. What's this over here? 3 o'clock. Where is 2 o'clock? Right there. Where's 5 o'clock? Right there. 7 o'clock? Right there. You would know how to read that if I said, that's a clock. Okay? Remember I said we're going to dial this in a little bit, because with the solar, it's kind of rough. But what if I could dial it in even better? Okay? Now, we're going to go back to the big one, but we'll come back to this in just a second. I have improvised a piece of wood, let's say, and I've said this is a clock. Okay? Time. I need to be able to tell time in the field, and I can. How am I going to do that? You've already heard this probably, but you have 4 fingers sticking out, tuck your thumb down. When I'm standing here and I'm looking in the direction of the sun, and let's say it's in the morning, okay? I bring my arm out like this, and I put this, from my point of view, kind of like at the rough horizon. Now let me show you that, what that means. Here we have ground level. Here we have me holding my arm out, and from my eye to my arm, it's like a line that comes over here and hits roughly at ground level, say 200 yards ahead of me. But what it is, I'm just setting up an artificial horizon right there. That's the ground level, way out yonder. Okay? Even if I got trees in front of me, I hold it out at arm's level, and I put, that's about where the ground level is out there. Okay? Then 4 fingers equal 15 minutes. What are you talking about, Blackie? As the sun rises and it goes up, we calibrate it by hours, right? By minutes, seconds, and etc. So if I hold this at arm's level, and this is at the ground, and I know that the sun came up at 6 a.m., that would be 6:15, 6:30, 6:45, 7. So this would be 7 o'clock. Next hand, that's 8 o'clock, because this would be 7, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And I go up until the sun is setting, so that when I'm holding it, counting up, boom, 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 up here is the sun. I count up until my hand is aligned with the sun. Now let's say it's 9:30, okay? When I come up, you know, all right, 6 to 7, 8, 9, and there'll be a little gap up here. Okay, I come up and it's 2 fingers. Well, 2 fingers is a half an hour. So it would be 9:30. Okay? If you're less than a half hour, like from 9 o'clock till 9:25, round back to 9. If you're past the half hour, like 9:40, round up till 10 o'clock. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our clock with our witness mark right here. Right here is the sun, and let us say, for the sake of this moment, that it's 2 o'clock. I'm going to point the 2 o'clock position of my made-up clock to line up, going all the way across at the shadow, with the sun. Okay? Half the distance between the hour hand and the 12 o'clock position, half that distance will be due south, and in reverse of that is due north. Okay? Now, I will show you that picture one more time in the Boy Scout manual, right here. There it is, showing how to do this. So you see that little clock face right there? What they're talking about is you point the hour, so I say it's 3 or whatever, what would be the hour hand at the sun, and half the distance from the sun to the 12 in between, that would be due south. Because remember we said the sun is always south. So if I'm pointing a reference mark at the sun, I must be facing a southern direction, correct? So I've improvised my little clock. I have turned it to the 2 o'clock. It's facing the sun. I'm looking straight at it. I want that line straight over the top to cross the center, or better yet, hold up something real narrow so the shadow goes all the way across the middle, so I know I'm lined up with it. And then half the distance between that mark and the 12 o'clock, halfway, is due south. So in the morning, say it's 8 a.m., and I'm pointing over here, it's actually going to be there is south. Not to confuse you, but what it means is it allows this to point southerly to indicate south. And if I have a single reference point on a compass, no matter what it is, I can figure out the rest of the compass, okay, around me based on that. So I take this and I point my hour hand at the sun, my imaginary improvised hour hand. Half the distance to 12 is due south. Okay? And then I figure out that's south. Now, I have just figured out that this right here is due south. Okay? Well, if that's due south, that's got to be north, and that's got to be east, and that's got to be west. So I've taken my improvised compass slash clock. So, using my improvised clock face, I have now figured out a direction. That right there is south. Okay? Now, we just played the game with the clock face that's got no numbers on it. It's just got one reference point. What if I now said that clock face was a compass? Okay? So you've got a circle with one witness mark at the top. And I said that was 12 o'clock. Well, you could figure out that that's 3, that's 6, that's 9, and you can fill all those numbers in, correct? Okay. Same exact game. That's north. That's east. That's south. That's west. That becomes a compass once I have a direction. So, to go back over it, okay? Let me make this as coherent as possible. I have already determined through basic solar, southerly, northerly. I need to refine it down. I have improvised a device in the field, a Woodsman's compass, a Woodsman's clock face. It's whatever I have picked up, trash, tore a leaf, cut a piece of wood. I put a single reference part on it to say that's 12 o'clock. I have then used my hands to find the time of day. If it is in the morning, I count from sunrise, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it's in the afternoon, I reverse it. Sundown's going to be at 5:30, 5:30, 4:30, 3:30, 2:30, and I line up the sun. Okay? I have now determined the rough time of the day. I then take my improvised clock face and I say that, say 4 o'clock. I point the 4 o'clock position at the sun, so it's coming directly over the top. I want to kind of look over it. I want it to cradle straight over the top at 4 o'clock. Half the distance between the 4 o'clock and the 12 o'clock will be due south. Okay? That's now due south. If I wanted to, I could lay my compass down, take a piece of pine straw or whatever and lay across top. Something straight, a twig. And when I did, I have turned it into a orientated compass. Because now, when I did that and I found out south, and I took and laid a small stick or whatever across it, the other end of that stick must be pointing north, correct? Now I know east-west. How do I apply this? Remember that preparation? Where did you say your fail-safe is? Well, if I hit due west, I'll hit that road. So my fail-safe, no matter what else, if I've lost everything else, I figure out direction, and my fail-safe is go west, and I'll walk back to that road I discussed, and I'll get back to my car. So, by solar, I can get a rough bearing. By improvising a timepiece compass, I can get a more precise bearing and bring that down a lot, you know, where I'm actually hitting in a proper direction. So I'm hitting now west. Once I find one compass point, in this case south, I can fill in the compass and know where the rest of the directions are if I have one reference point. To walk out, I need one fail-safe reference point. West, east, north, whatever it is, because you know what that barrier, that line, that whatever, you boxed yourself in. Your fail-safe gets you out. This is then to part 2. In part 3, we'll go along how to turn this into a fast navigation so I can walk at speed to get out of here. Okay? Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.